Gentlemen and the couple ladies watching, today's video is brought to you by Neurodyne3648. We were talking about the Sinder situation earlier today, and they said that there's a video from Royalty is Here, and it's a decent job showing the pro Sinder side of the drama. Let's see. I'm interested. What is the pro side? Let's see.
Sinder situation. Sinder.
I'm inbred.
Bruh, even bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. The Chibi, I was about to say, damn, Chibi Dogi has something to say about it.
Now we're talking about
Oh,
Sinder.
brother.
I have never
Shout out
heard
to
of
Chibi,
Sinder
my
until
Oshi.
this controversy.
Her apology.
You didn't hear of Sinder until this?
Now, if you don't,
I have never heard of Sinder until this controversy.
Wow, so there are some people that really came into like the VTuber area and didn't know anything about Sinder. Oh, bro, I wonder what those opinions are like.
her apology was one of the
Somebody
worst
send me
I've
that
seen in
perspective.
recent memory.
It's just business.
We're eating quesadillas.
These people were not just business. They were friends who had your back. You fucking snake. I hope you're happy. I hope you're fucking happy.
Bro, who reacted like that? Because, golly, bro, I felt the anger in his soul. He must be invested.
Yeah, I know. Many of you are still reeling from the Gura graduation.
W
I'm sorry
Sabo.
I just reminded you of such a traumatic event. But why
Sabo.
those tears?
Shout out to Saba.
But those probably used cum tissues you have on that desk. Because
Y'all
you're
some
not
freaks.
in this alone. Because this year has been terrible for VTubing fans. And I know, I'm a bit late to this one, but I wanted to wait till the...
It's been very interesting, for sure. How would you guys rate this year so far with the VTuber scene in general? Not just the industry, the whole scene.
dust had somewhat settled, and as we all know, I love to talk about subjects that have long since fossilized, of which I suddenly remember when dropping a fiber-filled viscous extremity into the toilet and make a video on it.
What?
We were excited for eating whilst watching.
yeah.
I warned you
I appreciate it, bro. Talking about shitting.
multiple times in the past, but this is probably the
Don't eat and
newest
watch a
topic I
show.
wanted to talk about recently, and
I'ma
something
eat
that
anyway.
indirectly hit me with splash damage when it surfaced, as I had previously made another video about a VTuber that was perceived by many to be the most hated VTuber, and I
We just checked that video out. Check it out. It was a really good video.
basically
Somebody said check out Nux's reacting to it, bro. That's like over an hour long. I ain't gonna lie. If there's a Cliff Note version, I'm down to check it out. And if any of you want to make it, because I know some of you guys are pretty good editors, go ahead and make it, bro. I'll check it out.
went over why they may be viewed that way and their history, only for as soon as that video went live, I basically had my ass ran through, and
Hey,
that
yo.
video was immediately labeled outdated.
Damn.
Basically prematurely ejaculated because another VTuber was
He
about to
pre-nutted.
have a crusade launched against her due to her own actions.
Hmm.
And it was everywhere. It was talked about non-stop. She was even in that video I made. And I didn't even know. I just typed in VTuber to use as background footage before this
And
even
then she
happened.
popped up.
And there it was, like a little voodoo curse.
Bro, it's Sinder. Like, a lot of people got crazy at the drama because this is like one of the most popular people at one point in time. Her stuff is gonna pop up.
All of this was about the VTuber Sinder, who I must clarify does own a part of GamerSups, and I do have an active partnership with them.
Lamau, that's your
I
boss.
might be more cooked than the remains of people at Pompeii. Who knows? We'll
GG's,
see.
bro.
This is an
There
event
goes your
that rocks
sponsorship.
the VTubing community
10% off.
to its core.
Also, I needed to say something about this because I forgot, bro. Why is she a co-owner of GamerSups, but she only get 10% off with her link? Bro, she one of the CEOs. She should be having a 25% off code, bro. I can't be the only one thinking this, bro. Everybody else 10% cool. They content creators. Bro, you're a CEO. What is that?
Affected
25%,
many VTubers
bro.
themselves and their careers, and the main person it involves is still radio silent to this day, and for good reason, as the things that occurred would certainly be hard to come back from, especially in the court of public opinion.
Damn,
The
Shadow said
situation
something
also
too.
involves a lot of document reading, which I saw a meme
I
about
ain't
on
seen Shadow in a
Instagram Reels,
minute.
which totally didn't remind me about this whole situation.
They
Oh,
want to make
damn.
an apology.
Oh, damn. They got real. Oh, they got memes. What the?
Before we get anywhere near the situation, we need to first know who
Bro,
Sinder
I still
is
haven't seen
and
that
her
movie.
history.
People love watching VTubers.
Yeah,
I think it's like
they're hot.
people just like watching cute anime girls.
Of
Sinder
course.
is a VTuber that before all of this was actually one of the most popular indie VTubers. To the point where at the convention WeebCon, yes it does exist, I was
Lamau.
just as surprised as you, she had a
WeebCon?
meet and greet where there were so many people, they had a line for the line to
That's
meet
a lot
her.
of weebs.
And she had a concert where people were losing their shit and one guy was recording with a DS for some reason.
Bro, ain't no way.
Actually surprised me.
Bro, I remember when the internet really sounded like that, bro.
Where people were losing their shit and
Bro.
one guy was recording with a DS for some reason.
Bro, it really sounded like this, bro. I
Actually
swear, it was
surprised me that
ass.
She is a VTuber that has done a sort of face reveal, and we actually got to see her
Shout out to
IRL
Cinder,
3D
bro.
model.
Like,
The
one of the
certain
first people to
excitement
do that.
surrounded her due to
That's a
recent
W.
controversy has turned against her. But before any of this, Cinder had somewhat humble beginnings.
Really?
Although the Cinder account on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter was made in 2020, before that
That's
she
not that
was
long
known
ago.
under a very different name, a name she
Oh,
was well
that
known
name.
for,
PL.
Tashi.mp3.
PL.
The content around that time was primarily ASMR content that most of you can't relate to and probably bought into your delusions, like a date with your tsundere girlfriend
I ain't gonna lie, it's making sense why they standing up for her. It's making sense.
and I love you and I wish I could be your girlfriend.
It's
Or even
making
more
sense, bro, it's
unrealistic,
making
your
sense.
new girlfriend makes out with you after skipping.
144K views. It absolutely makes sense why people are still defending her, bro. They absolutely are in love with her, bro. They are.
Class.
for
I
sure.
personally don't watch ASMR. I personally just listen to white noise before I go to sleep.
Hey, beautiful.
about-
Let me put you on something, brother. If you go and type in healing frequency, you go to sleep today, I swear you're gonna be waking up like this. Instead of that bullshit that with the fucking like wake up at 6 a.m. Why are you waking up to loud noises, bro? You making the start of your day a chaos. What is that?
About to get really
need that-
personal
that
with you and share
relax.
one of my favorite ASMRs.
Good. Okay. Are you ready? Sweet dreams, baby.
Ah, so soothing. She also apparently had one of those mics that are really expensive and makes it feel like they're entering your ear canal when they're speaking.
Hey,
If
yo.
you don't know what I'm talking about and you're wearing headphones right now, you're about to get very
Hey, yo,
uncomfortable,
dog.
and it's basically like this.
Hey,
And
yo.
For those of you not wearing headphones, you
I don't like
just
that.
didn't feel anything at all there.
Don't do
According
that,
to
it.
Cinder
Don't do
herself,
that, bro.
she only actually started uploading this content after finding it, thinking it was cringe but thought she could do that, but wasn't completely
better.
sold on the idea until she opened a fortune cookie, telling her
A
to
fortune
go
cookie.
ahead with it.
I open up my fortune cookie.
Ain't no way.
My fortune
A fortune cookie made her a millionaire. Y'all need to start taking y'all fortunes more seriously.
said,
I
"Ideas
swear.
you may think are stupid ultimately lead to success." And I was
That's
like,
absolutely true. That's just real shit.
This is a sign.
Do
So
something
probably
differently,
next time
bro.
you get a fortune cookie, follow it. It's not like she was trying to hide her past of doing ASMR or her past character. She actually still made these type of videos after changing to Cinder, and it was listed under her official channel as her ASMR content.
I don't
It
see
was
why
even
not.
mentioned in
Double
one of her
dipping.
recent music videos,
Yeah.
Smoke and Mirrors, which was launched a few weeks before her controversy, and came off as just ultimately ironic. But we
Oh,
first
it's her,
saw
bro.
the
It's
mention
her.
of Cinder in 2020 when she created all these social media accounts and later started streaming in 2021 and was able to carry her audience from her ASMR content and Twitter to watch her stream pretty regularly. But the Tashi phase of Cinder's career, although it was mainly ASMR, it was not to be underestimated. This gave her a start with her audience and gave her a foot in the door for her next stage in content, which was being a VTuber. But being
W.
a VTuber
She already was
isn't that
established.
easy. Unless you want to make your VTuber model and art yourself, you may have to invest a lot of money to make your first VTuber model. And especially as an indie VTuber,
I did it for
you would need an
$600.
audience to prove that money was worth investing.
It was
Unless
for
you just
fun.
want to gamble it and blind run it, I guess. But in 2021, Cinder
Or
had
for the
already
fun of
made
it.
moves towards
Whichever.
her goal of becoming a VTuber. She had already rebranded under the new name and began posting teasers and artwork of her character. But she did come across some difficulties, especially with getting her VTuber model. But even with this difficulty, she was still growing her audience and still streamed regularly with a placeholder for her VTubing model until her eventual official debut in July of 2022.
Okay.
The avatar that was presented in her first debut, the model was created by a creator called Nanoless, someone that would go on to create a lot of the models of most of the popular VTubers.
Really? Buff Puff? Zentreya? Fruit? Bro, what? This person made all the models, bro. Bro, this is one of the goats of the VTube industry, bro. What? That's crazy. They made so many big people. I don't know who these other people are, but these are some nice models. Also, somebody told me Zentreya is a dude. Is that true? Because if so, damn, I didn't expect that coming. That wasn't on my bingo card.
And someone that would be involved later in the controversy Cinder faced. But the debut went pretty well, and it was probably down to Cinder's efforts building her audience previously and the massive calcium cannons attached to her
Calcium
avatar.
cannons.
The modeling of those probably took a terabyte each.
Damn.
The debut stream peaked at 988 views.
Bro, royalty is so funny, bro.
And 2 days later, she would hit 10,000 followers on Twitch. And would finish that year with an average concurrent viewership of 1,000 viewers per Twitch stream.
Wow,
which is
that's really good.
And places
That's
her
really,
in the
really
top
good, yeah.
1% of Twitch. This growth would continue across all of her platforms, in 2023.
Yeah. Oh,
she hit
collab with Numi.
100,000 subscribers.
When was that collab with Numi? 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, at least. Tricky is up here as well. Oh my goodness.
All of her platforms in
Okay,
2023.
2 years ago.
She hit 100,000 subscribers on her main YouTube channel. People began seeing her regularly collaborating with other VTubers.
They've known
to the
each
point
other
where they
for a minute.
supposedly had their own name.
Girly Pops.
This included other VTubers like
The
Numi,
Girly Pops,
Bao,
bro.
Yuzu, Vienna,
Yuzu.
and Tricky. But at this point, she was integrated within the VTuber
I remember the blue-haired one. She was the one that was like the Pokemon, right?
community, and her Fire Pups, the label she used for her supporters and fans, were growing day by day, and by the end of 2023 she was averaging 2,000 viewers on Twitch. She released her 2.0 model, also created by Nanoless, much to her community's delight, and once again, there was probably enough booba there to feed the entirety of Yemen and swallow up most people's GPU usage. She
Damn.
returned to ASMR every now and again on her main channel, showing she had not completely turned her back on her past, but uploads under her Tashi persona would seemingly cease around this time. 2024 was the same as usual, more growth, and she was averaging almost 3,000 concurrent viewers.
That's big,
something
bro.
that probably assisted
so
in her
big.
becoming a partial owner of Gamersubs, along with her friend at the time, Shylily.
Yes,
and she
bro,
also
that's big.
started showing up at VTuber convention panels along with other VTubing talent. But it's important to note that Cinder had a fairly clean reputation prior to her latest controversy. The only thing closest to controversy was with the whole Twitch thing, where some VTubers were unfairly banned to their appearance on stream. But
Really?
in other areas of Twitch, you can basically see softcore hop.
surprise.
But VTubers were being banned for
Twitch,
seemingly the
wow.
same appearance. Yeah, VTubers still somewhat have a 12-inch
Right.
hate bone of a Twitch over that. But until 2025, her record was
Bro, and it's a necessary one too, because Twitch still be going at VTubers for some reason.
somewhat clean, not a smear in sight, which is probably why when all of this was brought to light, many of her audience couldn't believe the person they supported for so long was capable of the things levied against her, with many people coming out with similar stories. But what happened?
What happened? What?
It's fucking disgusting.
With content nowadays,
Disgusting.
especially within the streaming environment, many content creators have an online persona, many of which their viewers resonate with, only for most of said viewers to be severely disappointed when they learn the person they were watching for years isn't exactly like they were on camera or when they were streaming.
I don't know about them, but bro, I'm just the same dude you meet. If you meet me at TwitchCon or wherever, bro, I'm the same dude, bro. I'm just chilling. And sometimes I'm crazy.
which is normal. Most people will never be in melee range of their favourite content creators, but this relates very much to the Sinder situation, as the viewers of Sinder would never have expected what was occurring behind the scenes, and her supposed friends would react the same way. On April 26, 2025, a document dropped from the artist.
Bro, I love this
Nanolis.
background music. What's the background music called?
Remember, we
the
mentioned
piano.
it like a few minutes ago. You dumbass.
Huh? You said
she
what?
was the person
a few
behind
minutes ago.
the creation of Cinder's VTuber avatar, and so many others within the VTubing space, some of which Sinder was friends with. But this document was Nanolis announcing she would
Was that
no
Iron
longer
Mouse?
work.
No, wait. This person drew
Sinder
Iron
was
Mouse?
friends with.
Bro, please tell me this is a placeholder, because if this is the actual artist, they have Iron Mouse, Zentreya, Buff Puff, Fruit, Cinder's model. Bro, who? What?
But this document was Nanolis
Bro,
announcing she would
that
no
is
longer work with Cinder
legend.
due to her and her manager's behaviour towards her and others. This once again would inspire other people to come out with their own documents, talking about their experiences with Cinder and her manager, which altogether is a lengthy read, and probably rivals the King James Bible in terms of pages at this point.
Boy, ain't no
From
way.
all the information that was put out
Hey, man. We ain't gonna go through the King James version. That's too long.
there, it was proven that the manager named Redacted was in fact her boyfriend.
Ah!
I know some of you
Yes!
refugees from the Gunpie community are reliving your own D-Day again, and some of her fans were probably shocked to hear this as well.
Yes!
Some of them probably throwing away their mouse pads.
I couldn't believe it. A very attractive, wealthy woman had a boyfriend? Say it ain't so!
So the little wrist support on it that had
Say
the
it ain't
exact
so!
measurements of her VTubers' areolas. But once again,
Areolas.
that one tweet about VTubers having boyfriends was proving correct again. But why is this important?
Bro,
Well,
why
in
are
the
y'all
Nanolis
surprised?
document and many others, they suggest both her and the manager were working in unison, and they were fully aware of each other's actions, which is important because a lot of the actions spoken about involve really aggressive business tactics, which people would understand in a business environment.
It's just
And
business.
possibly in the streaming environment if those business tactics were not being used against her own supposed friends. Going back to the
your friends,
Nanolis
that's the
document,
part.
it is
That's why everybody got mad, because of the friendship part, which is understandable. People who betrayed their friends are worse than scum. Kakashi Sensei. And bro, that being said, we still not that invested. Like, yes, Cinder is apparently a bad friend. Do not be friends with Cinder. That's it. But as fans, either you like her or you don't. And as people that don't like the fans, hey, you could say it's just business. And just keep walking, bro, because it ain't even that deep, bro. We like, it ain't that deep, bro. We got it. We good.
is actually fairly short, around 18 pages, most of those pages including Discord screenshots between Cinder, the manager, and Nanolis
Damn.
from 2023 to 2025. Having
Wow,
read the
that's a
document,
lot.
it talks
You
about
read it?
multiple things.
GG's,
but
bro.
the main point of it is
Thank
that
you.
Redacted, the manager, was trying to push the model creator, Nanolis, to only work with Cinder and blacklist other creators such as Bao,
Yeah,
Cottontail,
blacklisting is
and
crazy,
Silverveil.
bro.
Once again, some of these people were supposed
They were
friends
friends,
of
bro.
Cinder,
That's
and
crazy.
outside of the blacklisting, they also affected VTubing models for Bao and Silverveil that Nanolis was working on.
Oh, damn. So she actually interrupted somebody else's business. So that's not just a backstab. Now that's illegal. What's going on?
Around this time, Bao had expressed in a group chat with Cinder how upset she was this got cancelled, and Cinder said nothing. And Silver later shared she'd never really spoken to Cinder except for a meet and greet.
I ain't gonna lie, my mind is being blown right now.
Collaborations that Cinder kept inviting her to twice in 2023.
I ain't gonna
And she
lie,
also
I didn't know
brings up
all
a
that.
screenshot of her bringing up Nano after trying to cancel their model at the same time. Back to the negotiations, they offer to pay her and give her a lot of work to cover these blacklisted creators if they ask for art, and all she has to do is say no and they will hire her for a new job to replace that money. They also
Wow, I ain't gonna lie, that's some dastardly deed, bro. That's on some supervillain shit, to be honest. But why, bro? You already at the top. I don't get it.
stated when trying to push for an exclusivity
Greed.
deal that the more
It's just
avatars
greed.
this artist creates, the less
Damn.
unique they become. They use this line a lot over the span of 2 years, by the way. It's a weird point. They even clarify all of their creations are unique. It's not a volatile stock, bud. They also go as far to slander other creators in these messages,
Slander?
like saying Bao had stolen their editor,
Oh,
and
damn.
supposedly locked them up because her music video did better than Bao's.
Oh,
And
damn.
that Bao is good at emotionally manipulating people, which
Oh,
Bao
damn.
proves wrong in her document, and the editor comes out to talk about it as well. They mentioned Shylily, another VTuber that was
bro, look, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, bro. We all got skeletons in our closet. Whatever type of skeleton you want to call it, whatever you want to do with it, it don't really matter, but we all got them, right? If you gonna hold Sinder accountable, then you should hold everybody accountable, bro. That's all I got to say. It like make it make sense, bro. It gotta be fair, unless what happened was a lie. But who knows, bro? What is truth? Truth is whatever you want it to be.
associated with them, going on to say she's been acting weird, like ghosting her messages, and when Sinder apparently raided her on Twitch, she didn't recognize her by name.
Oh my goodness! Hello! Oh! Hello, raiders! Hello!
And they were just trying to get information about Lily from Nanolus. They also referred to
Bro, she didn't shout out Sinder. Oh no.
another VTuber copying
Oh,
Sinder
no.
who was Spite with similar designs. They talked about Silvervale again, saying they had also copied them due to them advertising their figurines on the same day. But Nanolus would reach out to Sinder back in 2023 trying to verify one of the things Redacted was saying, where the infamous line, "It's just business," comes from. Which many thought, you know, these are your friends, it's not just business. But in my personal opinion, I think she was just trying to reassure Nano she is free to do whatever she wants. And then again 2 years later, they would talk again about not taking the exclusivity deal, and Sinder vents her frustration about being compared to Silvervale a lot.
Damn.
So what this basically
That's an
boils
op.
down to is Redacted,
Silvervale
and
an
by
op.
association Sinder. They wanted this artist to just be doing work for them, and tried pressuring the artist into said deal in an attempt to somewhat control their output, and to not work for people Sinder was supposedly friends with. And
Damn.
in some cases to drop
You got
work
receipts.
being done for others. And also
Damn.
slandered
You
and
got
talked
receipts,
poorly
bro.
about other VTubers.
Damn.
Essentially impacts their own business and careers.
That's the receipts,
and is
bro.
essentially
It's raps.
backstabbing your friends for your own gain. This affected a lot of
Bro, this is supposed to be a morally gray. I'm waiting to see how it turned out.
people
I'm
across
waiting
the
to see.
VTuber community,
Morally
but
great,
mainly
let's see.
people that were associated with Sinder. Each person made their own document.
This look like
sharing
damning
their
evidence, bro.
experiences
I swear
with
it
Cinder
do.
and showing proof that some of her claims were false, and
Hmm.
some coming forward saying they were the people talked about in some of these screenshots. One document released showing that when Sinder was Tashi.mp3, she had intimately messaged another person and cheated on Redacted.
Damn.
The document made the person writing it and Sinder just looked bad, but admittedly they eventually did cut it off. But it was
It
clear
is
from this
what it
point
is,
Sinder
bro.
was not to be trusted. She was highly competitive and business oriented, even with friends.
I ain't gonna
She
lie,
would
that make you
eventually
dangerous,
release
bro.
her
That
own
make you
document
dangerous.
apologizing, which also didn't do too well. It was quite literally spawn camped out the gate.
Damn.
And the VTuber Shylily, who was involved in
They
this,
waited on
and
her.
doesn't get that involved with VTuber drama and is seen to be this wholesome VTuber. But in this situation, she popped her ult and made Cinder
Damn.
bite the cab, basically,
crazy.
along
Yeah,
with
yeah,
many
yeah, I
other
remember.
VTubers. But in Cinder's
Oh,
apology,
man.
she
Rough.
admits Red was her partner, and that she previously did cheat on him, but they fixed that in their relationship.
That's
and then
their
says he was
relationship,
very
bro. That's
business
their
orientated, and that she didn't know a lot of the things he was doing, including the messages with Nana, and that Redacted was no longer her manager. A lot of people just saw this as her throwing her boyfriend under the bus, and claiming complete naivety about all the things that were happening, which people didn't believe. She apologizes to Nana for putting her through this, but says that she never meant to pressure her, but she can see why she saw it that way. Not the best apology when people are saying you tried to manipulate somebody. She apologized to Bao, saying she should have never treated her friends like competition, and that she should have known Red was talking bad
Damn,
about
bro.
her.
That's crazy.
She apologizes to Cotton and Lily for dragging them into this, and that once again she did not know that Redacted was trying to exclude them, and that she had just learned about this herself, which people also didn't believe. She apologizes to Silvervale, who everyone supposedly compared her to, and that she was being eaten alive by harassment relating to this, but she was wrong for letting this get to her. She apologizes to Spite, Peaches, and apologized to her own audience, the Pyropups, and the VTubing community in general.
Bro, I gotta read this one. I'm sorry to my pyro pups and my mods for expecting me to lead by a better example than this. I'm sorry to the VTuber community for looking towards me as someone to aspire to. Damn, why are you sorry for that? Damn. I'm sorry to Kazir, who put his heart and soul into everything he's done for me, and not even talking to you about how I felt. I'm sorry to the dozens of artists that have put their hard work into me. That's some real shit. And if I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to the rest of my friends who I've let down. I've led a bad example, and I don't expect forgiveness. Damn. I've made many mistakes over my 5 years on the internet. Real shit. I'm only one person living one life. I get the first and only time like everyone else. Real shit. As I said at the start, I ended up developing an extremely unhealthy work-life balance, and the harm Red has caused with the way he viewed things is irreparable. Damn. The way I've been perceiving things lately is not how I want to view the world moving forward. And it goes to show there's a lot I need to address and improve if I'm to continue being a creator. I'm not gonna lie, gang. Pretty deep. That is pretty deep. You're gonna continue being a creator, you need to have better leadership skills, taking care of a community. And over the 5 years, you just messed up. But you're trying to get better. I will hope, bro. Like, I'm the optimist. If anybody asks me at any, bro, I'm the guy to say, hey, it'll get better, because I just believe it will. I'm devastated to the friendship so special to me may understandably never be mended again. That's absolutely true. I love my job and I love all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading, Sinder. I love my job and I love all the friends I've had. I ain't gonna lie, you lost me at the last part, gang, bro. You had me in the first half, bro. I love my job and I love all the friends I've had. Damn, bro, what about the fans, dog? Like, what about the pyro pups, bro? Like, you should have said, I love my fans, bro. Like, those are the guys these are the guys that are supporting you right now, bro. You love your job, bro. It's a career, bro. You'll get another one. What is this? This is craziness.
Which basically nobody accepted, and to this day she has
crazy,
not
bro.
been forgiven.
I
Her
don't blame
reputation is basically liquid diarrhea at this point. She built her career up for multiple years just for this to completely destroy it in seemingly a week.
Literally.
But to be fair, even a month after this happened, things have died down. I wouldn't say people have moved on from it due to the fact it affected so many people, but it isn't as talked about as much as it was initially.
It's just sitting in the
Some
background
people
waiting,
have
bro.
written this situation off as just high school level drama, which I do disagree with due to the fact this
There's
has
money
affected
involved.
People's careers
There's
and
business involved.
But that's just
This ain't high school, dog. This real life, bro. What are you talking about? High school.
Now, even with all the allegations in the air regarding Sinder and a good percentage of her own audience showing outrage and expressing their disappointment to the point where they have begun discarding and throwing away merchandise.
Bro, why would you do that, bro? What? Why would you do that?
Tried to fight back.
Oh, damn. They really don't. Damn, that's crazy.
In Sinder's absence, some going after other creators like Shylily, bringing up her past and saying she is just as worse as Sinder. And some
Just as worse is
patiently
crazy,
waiting
dog.
for Sinder to return.
I feel like I gotta read that last part. Well, you could also consider this. Shylily has admitted to setting up the Nano and Bao doc. She admitted to data espionage when she said on stream she installed a keylogger on an ex's PC. Holy shit, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy. That's you putting keyloggers on people's computers? I ain't gonna lie, that's on some hacker shit. We know Nano broke data protection laws in Brazil. How did Shylily get the info from Nano? I don't know, bro, but keylogging ain't cool, bro. That's why I didn't play what's that? That Earth game, like Planet Earth or some shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Y'all know what I'm talking about. They had a keylogger on there on that game on PC. Be careful. It's probably too late, but yeah.
As worse as Sinder, and some are patiently waiting for
Helldivers
Sinder
too.
to return.
That's what it's
but I was
called.
curious why Sinder fans are still holding on. You know, are they just crazy? There are so many documents recording what Sinder had done. Why are they still defending her? And I found one of her fans that are still defending her and waiting for her to come back.
Okay.
And to be honest, I went in thinking they were crazy, even though in the title
Extremely
it literally
biased.
says they are biased.
I see.
But I gave it a shot. and it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
And the video uses a document by Powder,
I'm excited
another
to see.
VTuber
Let me
that was
see.
not involved in the situation.
Let me see the other perspective. I
whatsoever.
love this.
They compiled most of the documents and made a timeline, and from that document it is a very different perspective on the whole situation.
I'd love
they
to
also
see
add
it.
their own opinion in there at times, and
Okay,
add
that's
clips
fine.
to show their reasoning. They
Okay.
also take some of the emotional aspects out of the situation and judge it purely based on what happened.
Okay.
And this is what some existing Cinder fans
That's
are
good.
using to defend her. And I thought
Okay.
it'd be interesting to look at
Using
the Cinder
somebody else's
situation
work?
from
Cool.
a different perspective. They
Alright.
start off by saying that before Nanalis dropped her document, she had shown some of the things being said about Shylily and other people to Shylily herself. This is apparently what started all of the documents,
Okay.
and they used this clip to evidence that, taken from Shylily after the situation, talking about it.
Talked to Nano and I was like, Nano, I'm gonna be honest. Some of the stuff you have here is heartbreaking. I'm thankful for you showing this to me, but I highly encourage you to share this with the people affected, especially Bao, but because, you know, that one nasty one where she sabotages Bao, especially that one. And Nano, the
Especially
fucking
Bao.
Giga chat she is, agreed. She agreed.
Why especially
So
though?
they made a group chat.
From there, Bao was then informed about the situation and provided the same screenshots. And then all of them were in a group trying to discuss how they would bring this to light. And it says in the document they went through all the possible solutions and decided to make a Google Doc. The evidence is of Bao's stream going over it, where she is very upset, and she mentions going over all the possible solutions.
I thought of every possible solution on what to do next. And we were really scared, like...
There is then a claim in the document that Bao was told many times to include private information about Cinder being in a relationship, but Bao didn't want to do that.
Good. That's none of
You
our
do
business.
not know how many times I was told to put in my Google Doc the fact that you had a significant other, and no matter how many people told me to put it in, and how stupid I would be to not put it in, I could not bring myself to put it in, because I knew that what that would do to your reputation, and you could not spare that same thought for me.
And then it makes a claim Bao was put in a position
Oh, that's some real shit, Bao. I see. That's some very powerful stuff. Okay. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. I'm glad she didn't do it, bro. Because again, like that relationship stuff, as much as y'all want to be invested as fans, as much as the parasocial and all that, bro, relationships are two powerful things in this universe. And there's nothing you can do about it when it comes to online. What somebody has with a significant other, there is nothing anybody else can really do unless those two people let somebody else put something in their head on that. So there's nothing we could do. That's out of our hands. So yeah, for sure. Not our business. Let them do their relationship. It's theirs.
to speak up or no one else would.
I hated, but I had to be in the position where it had to be me to say something or no one else would.
Then it claims they slept on it for a night and then they eventually did post the document. And it also claims at one point Cinder and Redacted were never contacted privately to resolve this. However, there is a clip where Shylily says she has tried this before, but it was unsuccessful, and it was regarding a different situation.
People saying, why didn't you handle this private? We did once. We did. And she's only deflecting and pretending to be apologetic when put on the spot.
And then Nana releases her document, and then Bao 6 minutes later. And then after the documents have dropped, Cinder and Redacted reach out to Nano privately, and Nano just blocks them.
Everything went live, and you know what she's done? The first thing they both did, they messaged Nano, going, Nano, please. You know what that absolute fucking Giga Chat did? Her pussy's so fat, bro. Blocked. Blocked.
Damn.
And then the next day, Cinder releases a statement saying she's removing her manager, and then everyone else proceeds to post their documents with their sides. And then this document proceeds to put all screenshots in order, provided from all the documents. but they do add their own opinion at times, like saying in Nanolys's document she says Redacted asked her to cancel one of her closest friends, Bao, but they made the point that the screenshot provided is not Redacted telling her to cancel a model but asking if she did cancel models, unless there is more evidence that has not been released. It also says there is missing context with the reason behind Silvervale's commission cancellation, and that ultimately it was Nano's responsibility to cancel this. And it also questions why sometimes there is gaps in the time with the screenshots, like when they were talking about the exclusivity deal, and where they were talking about Drama and Lily, which could be conversations about personal information, or just not relevant conversations at all, but there is gaps. Ultimately, this document puts all the events into a different perspective with a timeline. This document did enlighten me about things I didn't know, like people knowing beforehand, and the fact they launched their documents seemingly at the same time. But they come to a number of conclusions at the end of the document. Firstly, they reiterate they had no involvement in this whatsoever, but wanted to put this in chronological order for clarification. They personally think the claims do not align with the evidence provided, and they wish people would look at the DMs outside of the emotional commentary. They then talk about Red and Nano's DMs in general, saying the DMs do not support the claims of manipulation, and it is a gross mischaracterization of what was happening in the DMs, and also that from the DMs they were known to talk about both business and personal topics. And these conversations were very casual, and that ultimately Nano had say over her work, and that she had stood up previously to Red and Sinder, and that she previously made tough business decisions on her own volition. And once again, there are gaps and a lack of context in some of the DMs that make them question the claims against both Sinder and Red. They then speak about the relationship between Sinder and Red, and they start by saying that you should keep in mind that Redacted was acting as her manager, and it makes sense he would want his client to be prioritized. But probably the most important thing is the question, just because Sinder and Red were in a relationship, does it mean they know everything which each other was doing?
Of course.
It is claimed in a number of documents that based on personal experience with Sinder and Red that they believed they spoke for each other and worked in unison. But there is no hard evidence for this. But with everything available to us now, we cannot 100% definitely say they knew everything each other were saying, unless additional information is released, which they might not be able to due to personal information being involved.
But there's also more receipts!
More receipts?
Verifiable receipts.
Damn!
That weren't added to the doc, because either there are smaller things that just only really become a problem when added up, or they were a little too private to be shared.
However, as the document says, she did stand by what Red was saying at times. And then they talk about the model cancellations, and that they think the evidence weakly supports the claim that Red had involvement in those cancellations, but Red did want prioritization on Sinder, but also expressed understanding, and he didn't want to make Nano feel like she had to do these things. And once again, there is some missing context around the cancellations, and that there is no evidence as of yet that Redacted explicitly tells her to cancel those models. And if there is evidence of this, why isn't it shown? They then claim at the end of the day the decision to cancel those models was up to Nano.
Yes, it's
and blaming it
Nano's
all on
decision,
Redacted shifts that fact. Next
pressure,
they talk about the exclusivity deal, starting off by saying it is completely understandable that those affected by the exclusivity deal would be rightfully upset. But these screenshots were only negotiations, and they think it makes sense that they would push for an exclusivity deal so their work could be produced faster. But it does affect people Cinder called friends.
That's the whole point. Yeah, because you want exclusivity for yourself so you can get your stuff up faster. Yeah, and you know that it's affecting other people. It's if you know for a fact, hey, I buy this person, nobody else is going to be able to benefit. Is there maliciousness behind it? It's not about did she buy it or not. Like, we get it. They're negotiating a deal. What is the deal based off of? What is the intent of the deal? How much of the deal is malice versus just business? Which one is it?
Don't think it's sabotage, as Nano charges a lot for her commissions, and these creators pay high prices for them so they can easily find other
10K.
people to do these commissions.
Bro.
However, if this deal includes cancelling models mid-commission, it is indeed not fair, and they wish they were shown evidence on the final terms Nano stepped back on. But just to interject my own opinion,
that's
a
not
lot of
enough,
creators
bro.
choose...
I feel like it's not just about, oh, there was stuff there and they're actively canceling it. It's still it's the attempt of purchase for exclusivity. And I get it. It's literally a business move. It is a business move that is such a business move. Only businessmen would actually legitimately consider this as a good business idea. Basically, if you only care about business for business sake, that, yes, of course. But what about everybody else? And I get it. It's a dog-eat-dog world, to be honest. Me personally, I think society's screwed, right? I encourage all of you to start working out, start going outside, start reading books, start learning. Because, bro, this VTube stuff, what if a bomb gets dropped on your head? That's... fuck this VTuber stuff, bro. Y'all better start looking around. Real shit.
Analysts because they know she produces high quality work, and some have worked with her previously for a while, but it puts those creators at a disadvantage as they have to find someone else to trust and trust in their work that it will come out the way they expect. Whereas with Nanolis, they already trust her and they can put their full faith in her. They then speak about the leaked DMs, saying that Nano had leaked DMs of a client to another client, labeling it as careless and inexcusable. Also, seemingly from a business perspective, it should cause concern for people that work with them in the future.
It's business.
And that she chose to end a business relationship by leaking private DMs and shaming them from a Google Doc. And that when this happens, they attempted to reach out to her and she blocked them. And then finishes off by saying she may casually mention these facts to other people she's working with.
So maybe Nano is the bad person.
Once again, they are talking.
When I say these people are bad, good and bad, it's all subjective. I'm not really looking at this too seriously or maliciously. We are looking at it from more of a morality perspective, but morality is super subjective. Like, to be honest, there's no real morality unless you're friends. Try and remember that. Like, a lot of people out here forget we are animals. We are human beings, bro. We are like, legitimately, if you're not friends with somebody, a lot of other people would just not care about you. And that's real shit. So try and stay conscious of the fact that you need to look out for you, but look out for your friends. Friends is what keeps us together. That's why we still have society, because we still have friendships. So yeah, you guys should try and make friends and try not to screw over your friends, which is why a lot of people are upset that Sinder screwed over her friends, because she screwed over her friends. Like, bro, you don't do that. Kakashi, come on, let's go. Like, I know this is a very confusing video for a lot of people to watch 100%. I understand you. What is bro yapping about? I'm yapping about some real shit, okay? I'm the old guy. I'm Uncle KhunShawn, bro. Nice to meet you, nephew or niece. I'm here to let you know all of this is not real at all, okay? Don't get too deep into it. Let it go. Breathe in, breathe out, let it go. We are the fans, the viewers. The real, that's between Sinder, Shylily, Bao, Yuzu, like the people that are involved, the girly pops, that's between them. And that's what I'll keep saying, bro. It's between them, and we're just watching it, and we should just watch it, not try and really interject ourselves into it. You can if you feel like you're that invested, but there's really no need to be that invested, brother. There's really no need to be that invested. And I get it, you love these people, bro. I know, the parasocial is real. I'm just here as Uncle KhunShawn to let you know that let it go, dog. Let it go. I swear, let it go. Things get so much better, bro. I swear to you. But let's continue the video. It's a good video. This is a really good video. And I hope you guys are enjoying the reaction. Please hit the like button, share with your friends. And if you don't like it, hit the dislike button. That's okay. Tell me in the comments what you don't like about it, because I'm interested to know. But if you do like it, tell me what you like about it, because I'm just here trying to help. That's it. I just go outside and I come in here. It's 2 in the morning, bro. I'm making this video for you guys because I actually care about you guys. right? It's crazy. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but I'm like, I really should go home so I can make a video for these guys. What did they want me to react to? Oh, they want me to react to this. Okay, boom, I got you, right? We still have this. We still have this type of friendship or relationship or whatever you want to call it. We have this, but I'm still gonna sit here and let you know it's okay. We can let this go a little bit. We can check it out, but try not to fall too deep in. I know I'm yapping a lot. I know. Let's continue.
From a business perspective here, I think they make a good point here, but it is unknown to me how Nanolist conducts her business.
10% off. Why has everybody got 10%?
On a personal level with the creators they work with, and it does appear most of them are friends. And we don't know if these people have contracts tied to their work, but in terms of client confidentiality, it does look pretty bad. Then we move on to the section where they claim Shylily
not a good business person to
of
do
this
business
whole
with.
situation.
Yes, I see.
I do see what they did there. Orchestrator, she's a whale. Yeah,
I knew
good
it.
pun, bud. They say it was never claimed how involved Shylily was until Bao streamed after the situation and mentioned Shylily was the first person the DMs were leaked to. They also go on to say that Shylily claimed that she was slandered, but some of the things Red said was true. The dodging collab statement by Red they claim was true by providing a clip where Shylily admits she did dodge one collab due to the dentist or something, and another she dodged because at that point she already knew.
The day after the dentist, I just simply didn't fucking want to.
Okay.
And the other one, yeah, I dodged.
I wish you would just tell everybody that like earlier. That would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine to dodge. You don't gotta do it.
Because at that one, I already knew.
Okay.
And the other one, yes, I dodged. But you know what's weird? The one person that is the reason for me dodging is the one concerned as to why I'm dodging.
They go on to say the other slanderous message was also proven true regarding ghosted messages, where they provide a clip where Shylily admits to this.
So anyways, yes, I am guilty of dodging a collab. Because I simply didn't fucking feel like it.
Okay, that's fine.
And yes, I am guilty of ghosting 2 messages where she asked for a collab. Which, by the way, she also only does when there is something business related.
Damn. Look, I'm not a big fan of ghosting, personally. I feel like if you don't like somebody, you should let them know, because it makes it a lot easier in life, just in general. But for sure, you don't got the right to respond to nobody about nothing. It is what it is.
But she also does say in the same stream that a lot of the time she isn't good at communicating with over Discord, and she sometimes does ghost people.
Everyone who
it is what it is.
Is in contact with me. Anyone who is close, even my
careful.
viewers, everyone
you might
knows
get ghosted.
I suck at Discord. I'm very distant. I'm very messy. I don't check often.
That's fine.
And I'm not very thorough. So
life.
And she knows that too, because it happened last year as well.
And then the final slanderous claim was that Lily didn't acknowledge Sinder directly when they raided her on Twitch. And they provide the clip I showed you before where she doesn't mention Cinder's name when raided, but she does acknowledge it happened.
Hello, raiders!
Okay.
Hello.
So she was feeling some type of way.
Pop raid. Hello, Pyro Pops. What did you guys do?
But Lily does talk about this later in her stream, saying she does not have to announce your full legal name when you raid her.
First of all, okay.
You don't gotta shout you out.
I am petty. I didn't even get a section for myself. I am going to be super petty. Not even a section for myself. For someone that is so upset for me not naming her full fucking government Twitch.tv name, for someone to just put me in a document as Lily when previously referring to me as the other gamer subs owner.
They finished
damn. Bro, the shade is crazy, bro. Shade room.
Made were proven to be true. And then the document goes on to say Shylily has previously stated she had a gut feeling against Cinder.
Follow your gut feeling. That's real. Follow your gut feeling. Follow it. Follow it. I swear to you, follow it.
You shouldn't have a gut feeling. You stay back. And you observe. You take distance. I'm a very distant, very in my own lane kind of person to begin with.
Do your thing, sis. Do your thing.
Like that friend. You know, everything seems...
Do your thing, sis. We on our own journey.
You know what? My gut feeling fucking ass. Shouldn't have trusted it.
Your gut feeling is ass? Follow it, bro. No, follow it. Follow it, bro.
VTuber makes friends in VTuber space. Friends appreciate having a friend. Turns out they were never a friend.
And then they also go on to say Shylily has this...
Bro, it is what it is. It's called a learning lesson, bro. We all get learning lessons in life, bro. That's part of the journey. You messed up. Oh, you bought a plane ticket. You missed a flight. Oh, okay. Well, time to do something else because you had a plan and plans don't exist. We just wish they did, bro. you want something to happen in your mind and you try and follow it to make it happen, bro, sometimes it don't work out that way. That don't mean life is over. Just pivot, do something else. It is what it is.
Displayed petty behavior
It's a lesson,
before,
bro.
using evidence
No
like when
mistakes,
she had
only
issues
lessons.
with Cinder claiming she's the Charizard of V cards.
When she said that and she
Damn.
tried to make this thing with me and we were doing
The
a collab and she
Charizard?
was just like, oh haha, the Charizard on Blastoise V card doing the oh, like, how dare you sit there and pretend to be some box legendary of something
the Pokemon
that you
shade.
didn't create.
Oh,
trust me, we all cringed, but people sometimes get excited and they do cringe-worthy stuff.
And then another where she insinuates it's
Damn.
okay to ban Cinder's merch, but in the clip provided, she
shit.
does a few seconds later say it's okay to donate merch as well.
But on top of that, again, if you cope by burning your merch, I ain't judging. You cope the way you wanna cope. I cope through memes and making fun of things. That also isn't fucking perfect. But if you have it in you and you can cope with it, try and donate everything you've got.
Bro, I don't know about her telling people to burn it. She was saying if that's how you cope, that's how you cope. And that's real shit, bro. Like, she cannot control what other people are gonna do with whatever they're gonna do with their life, bro. Come on, like, don't play.
Then they
Don't
state
play.
that Shylily
You
gloats
have
about the
free
Cinder
will.
situation in their stream, but compared to Bao, who was very upset, they state Shylily was almost pleased with this outcome, but to be fair, at the start of her stream she does clarify with this situation she deals with it differently, using humour, if that adds anything to this claim.
This is going to be my way of coping with this. You're gonna have to just sit through this.
Okay, let me
You're
see.
gonna have to sit through these very distasteful comments.
But they do finish this segment off by saying Shylily encouraged Nana to tell other people about these DMs, and says the situation was so urgent she had to involve Bao a few days after her surgery. And
Damn.
that from Cinder's apology, she would have never believed her.
All she had to do, you want a good apology for when you fuck up, and money, and greed for even more. The greed was unbearable. Yes, I'm terrible. Done. Of course I wouldn't fucking believe her. What the manipulator? Of course not. Obviously not.
And that she
Oh,
makes
man,
claims
really,
that aren't
bro, she really upset, bro. She's so upset. Oh my goodness.
On
Bro,
support.
I've never heard Shylily speak so much negativity so fast, bro. But I get it. She upset.
through DMs, and they wonder what she saw others didn't.
Needlessly to say, more stuff has happened. Needlessly to say. But most of these things don't have receipts. Or the receipts have personal, private stuff attached to it. That's just, you just can't share.
Yeah.
Then they
Don't do
move
that,
on to
please.
Bao, where they
Please.
believe Bao was pressured into making this document, under the impression if she didn't, nobody else would, and was urged to put personal information in there, but it's commendable she didn't.
Of
They
course.
add her document is very emotional, and claims are not supported by the evidence provided, but finishes with it's understandable why Bao would be so upset, especially with claims Red made like her music video being a flop, including her by name in the exclusivity deal,
crazy.
and misrepresenting why the editor was not working with Red.
Bro, they talking shit about each other, bro. It's crazy. Like, I mean, some friends talk shit, but those aren't the type of friends that I personally have in my life. So I wouldn't say keep them around, to be honest.
And Cinder going forward. They have a section on Cinder as well, saying her apology was complete dog shit, which it was, and maybe their friend's willingness to go public with this information is a poor reflection on her character, which may be corroborated by all the people coming out with poor experiences with Cinder, like a clip by Silvervale saying she had an artist reach out to them and say similar things have been occurring with them and Cinder.
They told me that she had told them that I hated her and I was this malicious person and that I was
not
so
expecting
mean
Silverman
and
to
I just
pop up in
hated
this
her
video.
so much, like usually conveniently right after doing a project or RP.
And Shylily saying previously that Cinder had thrown her under the bus.
For her to claim she has no knowledge, when I know for a fact she does, but I have no proof other than hearsay. It reminded me
Let's hearsay.
of that one fact, the one receipt we do have though, where she herself personally throws me under the bus, and I made sure to quote her own
Really?
words Because
Really?
again, that screenshot isn't public.
Really?
They also finish by saying they are not up to date with every bad thing Sinder did and that they think Sinder should keep going and take this as a learning experience. The overall conclusion, yes, we're almost there. No more Google Docies. I personally don't want to look at another doc with Naruto font ever again. It was way too much reading.
I bet,
but
bro.
They finish off by saying that they think the situation should have never gone public, which is a valid argument.
Surprise, surprise. Private business should have stayed private. Oh my goodness. Who would have thought about that? Oh.
Multiple parties knew about this beforehand,
brother.
but I think they made this public to try and prevent similar things happening with other artists.
Sure.
Like with the Silvervale clips, reveals Sinder or her manager was doing the same thing with other artists. And there is the potential claim that they tried to reach out and fix this privately before with a different situation, but there is no evidence of both. But we still do not know 100% that Sinder and her manager knew everything each other was saying.
Of course.
But yes, she did somewhat acknowledge the exclusivity deal and vent frustrations to Nana about other creators. And the document leaves off with they don't think this was enough to go after someone's career, and it reads as a hit on Sinder by other parties. But ultimately, Redacted did vent frustrations and say distasteful things, but these were said in private with confidence, and we can all relate to venting frustrations with a friend.
Well, hold on. Not all of us be talking shit about other people in the DMs, bro. That's not true. Don't say that. Don't say that.
That is the document.
That's different.
I think it was an alright document. It gives an interesting perspective and a timeline of events, but that is the other side and the contention with the claims made. And thankfully, it is the final document I have to look at.
Okay, the last document. Let's go. Conclusion. Hey man, if you've enjoyed the reaction so far, hit the like button, bro. I know this is a long one, bro. I know. Thank you for watching, bro. Namaste.
Conclusion, in a perfect world, this all would have been solved privately.
Assalamu alaikum.
There are a number of reasons they
salam,
potentially
brother.
didn't go about this, many of which I've mentioned. I think a lot of the documents rely on the fact Sinder and Redacted were working in unison to prove a lot of their points against them, but except for knowing about the exclusivity deal, which is backstabbing her friends, and venting her frustrations about other creators to Nana, but in other messages, it is not definitively proven she knew everything Red was doing. An additional context is needed at times, but admittedly those around her do corroborate this after knowing her personally, but say the evidence is hearsay or they can't release sensitive information. Redacted is definitely a terrible manager, I can say that for certain, but Sinder also, once again, does still look terrible for the things she admitted to in her apology, like treating friends like competition, cheating on her partner.
Hey, that's between them. Hey, some people like getting cheated on. Hey, can't convince me I'm wrong either, because I've seen people that don't give me that bullshit psychology. No, some people absolutely enjoy that shit. Can't confuse. Hey, I swear.
Being obsessed with Silvervale to a point and creating an apology document with no further evidence but just saying, I'm sorry you feel that way, essentially. It was a terrible apology. I don't know how many times I've said that. But can Sinder come back from this? I think it would be very hard to, but I think she can.
I think it's possible. She has a fan base.
Hate and probably harassment, but she
That's
still
okay.
will
She
have
has her
some
fan
fans
base
waiting for her.
Yeah.
Some that think.
Bro, the best thing you could do if you ever get canceled is do a Nux Taku and just keep making content. As long as the content's good, people, they won't care. The people that actually care, they're gonna leave, but there's gonna be people that don't care.
There is more to this situation, and some that have buried their head in the sand and don't even know the situation exists. But I will leave all the documents in the description.
You can't wake everybody up, brother.
Comment, and you can come to your own conclusion.
I already did.
I'm personally, all Google Doc-ed out, buddy, but let me...
Why Fillion almost quit streaming? Oh my gosh. 15 hours ago. Hey, y'all, let me know if y'all want me to check that out, bro.
Just install some fear on you real quick. All of your favorite VTubers have partners. Fuck you. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and bye-bye.
Bro, he hit him with a bombshell. Because maybe that might be true. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I would say in general, what could we learn? What did we learn from the more gray, fair perspective? That maybe it wasn't malicious what she did. Maybe it was just a malicious business strategy. Cool, bro. Maybe the business was malicious, but she didn't mean no personal harm. Hey man, it is what it is, to be honest. She's not the first person to do this. But again, Betraying your friends does not look good because, again, society, bro. We only have it because we agree to not kill each other. But eventually, we might agree to start killing each other again. It gets real out here being a human for a long time. So yeah, hopefully things will go well. And if they don't, well, I've been training. Have you? I hope so. If not, oh well. Oh, a friend told me this. If you're ever in like a fallout, you know how when the nuclear waste and all that, apparently eating mustard seeds and red onions together will keep you from the radiation poison. Enjoy the free info. Until next time, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.